Hey, stranger. It's been weeks since I've uploaded a YouTube video. I have no excuses, no reasons, no apologies. I'm just back. What the hell? And I think it would be best if we just picked up where we left off and pretended like that never happened. What do you say?
Go, 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 go. Can I play that song when we get in the car?
Something I've been thinking about a lot is what I want this channel to be. I like making little vlogs about my life and having these videos to look back on fondly, but something that I've been really interested in more than ever is taking these thoughts that I have about myself in relation to the world around me and thinking about them in a critical way, really analyzing the way that I feel and taking it a step further than it just being my opinion. And that is what I want to do today. I have notes. I want to talk about envy, jealousy, and the way it not only impacts me, but the way I think it impacts the world around me. I would consider myself to be a highly sensitive person. I'm very emotionally sensitive. And I think a lot of people could relate to that. And with that, I truly believe that I feel every emotion just to its most dramatic strongest degree. I can never just feel something. My emotions always do their big one. And for the most part, I've been okay with that. I think where I have drawn that line is with envy and jealousy. As I get older and get more life experience, I truly believe that these are two super natural and valuable emotions that are so much more complex than we think and can shine a light on so much more that is happening underneath. But we shame them because we're conditioned to feel like it's the opposite of confidence and that it is just unfavorable. It's just, it's kind of ugly to be envious of someone or to be jealous of someone when in reality, we all feel these things. Envy and jealousy are almost seen as these starting points by which we have to transmute to get somewhere else. And they don't really seem to have a lot of value on their own. But really thinking deeper about where these emotions are coming from can really help us understand these deeper feelings of lack and longing and fear. I always have had these negative connotations associated with envy and jealousy just as the word alone. But when I really break it down and do that shadow work to really understand where they're coming from, you really find that these occurrences are so much more natural than you're brought up to think. When I think of envy, I think of lacking something and having those feelings of resentment towards someone else because they have something that you don't. And initially, of course, that sounds so unnatural and not like anything you'd ever want to admit that you're experiencing, but it happens all the time. It's one thing to desire something that is way out of your reach, that isn't very probable for you. It's a whole nother thing to see someone with something that you have in a way that shines light on how accessible it is for someone that isn't you. You think about jealousy and how it comes from having something you really desire, that you really cherish, and the threat of someone taking it away from you. It's insane to me that we expect people to react calmly under these circumstances. I really want something and someone else has it, and it's not me, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get it. That's unknown. I have this thing that I really want and that I do not want to lose, and I literally think someone is going to take it from me. What? I'm mad as shit. I see so many occurrences of envy when I think back through my childhood. It was always very apparent to me what I lacked in relation to my peers. There was always something they had that I didn't, and it was never really the other way around, or so I thought, especially things that were out of my control. I knew what I wanted, and I saw how far I was from it and how close other people were to it. And that brought a feeling of resentment to me that even when I didn't understand it as a child was still prevalent. And now, the older I get, the more I'm able to build a life for myself and exercise my autonomy and build the life and the version of myself that I want to be. Then it shifts into those feelings of jealousy. And this is actually a huge problem for me. As I get older and I start finding my purpose, especially within art and creativity in general, I find that my envy is beginning to shift into a little bit more of the jealousy territory. I can't speak to everyone's life experience, but thinking about it from the perspective of a creative kind of feels like this. When you're deeply creative, I think innately you begin to become deeply possessive. You have to put a lot of vulnerable emotions and thoughts into your work in order for it to truly be just yours. And for some people, that's where their art has to come from. It has to come from their life experiences and their emotions, and they have to pull from that place to make things happen. And I think for other people, it is a little bit more lighthearted than that, and they don't mind pulling from a lot of sources and getting inspiration from other people versus their own intrinsic experiences. And I think both are fine. It really is just about whatever resonates with you. But I know for me, where my jealousy begins to come in is when I feel like my creativity is being kind of being used as someone's very lighthearted inspiration, because I don't know how to just create something and then let it go and understand that it's not mine anymore. Everything very much so feels like my possession. And it becomes really easy to see when other people are using it as inspiration. And that's where the jealousy comes from. And it's not weightless, there's so much more underneath that. It isn't just, oh, I don't want this person copying me. It really comes from those feelings of inadequacy and not having confidence in your ability to continue to produce the kind of art that you want. If I don't break through that thought process that my creativity is finite, then seeing someone else do what I do because I'm doing it feels like they're taking from a very limited reservoir. And I think until you work through that, it's always going to feel like someone is taking from a limited source. I think the healing comes from understanding that you can always just keep making more. It never stops progressing. And from the understanding that once you give your creation up and once it's done, it's just open to interpretation. It's yours because you made it, but it's not yours anymore because you're done with it, and it's time to let it go and move on to whatever's next. And then it doesn't help that we live in this, trend-based society, and we're all addicted to social media, and it's nearly impossible to get on a social media platform and not immediately start comparing yourself to other people and seeing what you don't have and seeing what you could lose and having those feelings come up again and again. And I think the relationship that envy and jealousy have to our confidence is almost symbiotic. I don't know that I can truly be confident if I'm not working through my envy and understanding that I have enough and I don't need what anyone else has. And I don't think I can be confident without working through my thoughts of jealousy and understanding that someone doing something similar to you doesn't take away from what you're doing. You don't need more and you're not losing anything either. And I think that as creative people, it is our responsibility to accept those things because they're critical to the creative experience. You cannot put yourself out there for interpretation without seeing someone doing something different and making the conscious decision to not worry about if you have more or less, or creating something, letting it go out into the world, and understanding that the same way someone's art has inspired you, your art is going to inspire someone else, and they're going to act on it the same way that you did, and you don't lose anything. And even if you did, it's already not yours anymore. And I don't really have any advice either for combating these things. I am very much just a woman in her 20s, also trying to navigate through my feelings of envy and jealousy, and understanding that working on those will be just pivotal for improving my confidence. And then improving my confidence will just in turn make me a better creative person. And I have more thoughts on this too. I don't think that they are entirely fleshed out in this video, but this is just a stream of consciousness that I have been thinking about for a while and wanted to share. I think that my next few videos are going to be more along these lines. I have a lot that I've just been thinking about the closer I get to my Saturn return and just that next stage in adulthood. And I really want to document these thoughts that I'm having so that one day I can look back on them and see how I've grown or how things have stayed the same. I think this video is going to be pretty short, but I don't have shit else to say.